Every fortune comes with a price, and today we're going to uncover the highest one ever paid. Donald Trump always had a knack for turning his image into money. Since his first magazine covers in the 80s, he was portrayed as a real estate prodigy, the embodiment of the American dream, bold, controversial, and utterly untamed. His name became a brand emblazoned in gold on hotels, casinos, commercial buildings, and even on ventures like stake lines and a university. If you're fascinated by uncovering the secrets behind immense fortunes, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps us bring more stories like this to you, but what the public saw was only a meticulously curated fraction of the story. Behind the dazzling spotlights, there was a carefully constructed web of shadowy dealings, opaque shell companies, and tax practices that, at best, skirted the edges of legality. This was an empire that mysteriously seemed to expand even when its core ventures were hemorrhaging money, an entity that secured fresh financing even when its debts brought it to the brink of collapse. The truth, as it often does, resided far from the public eye, deep within the hidden financial maneuvers. Documents later revealed that Trump consistently employed dubious accounting tricks. He would artificially inflate the value of his properties when he needed to secure hefty bank loans, presenting himself as a titan of industry. Yet he would simultaneously deflate those very same values when it came time to pay taxes, declaring himself less affluent to the government. In essence, he was a millionaire for the banks and a struggling businessman for the IRS. For decades, this intricate dance of financial manipulation largely went unnoticed. Tax authorities, for reasons still debated, appeared notably reluctant to challenge him, and banks rather curiously continued to extend substantial lines of credit, even in the glaring aftermath of spectacular bankruptcies like that of the Trump Taj Mahal, a billion-dollar casino that became a stark symbol of financial ruin, cleverly camouflaged by an inflated ego and a meticulously maintained facade of success. The unraveling, from business mogul to political figure, it was with his audacious entry into the political arena that the carefully woven curtain began to dramatically tear. The 2016 presidential campaign was built on soaring promises of transparency, a relentless fight against corruption, and a grand restoration of American morality. Trump famously declared he was so rich that he would be immune to the influence of lobbyists and would even forego his presidential salary. Yet instead of divesting himself from potential conflicts of interest, he seemed to exponentially multiply them. His luxury hotels directly profited from foreign delegations who found themselves booking rooms and event spaces there. Campaign funds were controversially channeled to finance personal legal battles and various settlement agreements, and almost inevitably the investigations began to accumulate, a steady drumbeat in the background of his burgeoning political career. At the epicenter of all these swirling controversies lay a consistent and deeply entrenched pattern: to hide, to deny, and to deflect. Trump famously claimed he couldn't release his tax returns because they were under audit, an excuse that has since become a catchphrase synonymous with evasion. The true key to unlocking the mysteries of Donald Trump's sprawling empire lies not merely within the intricate structures of his various businesses, but profoundly in the shadowy, often opaque realms where he conducted his most significant negotiations. What initially appeared to be merely aggressive and shrewd business acumen, over time unmistakably revealed itself to be an almost meticulously calculated strategy of image manipulation and the systematic concealment of deep-seated financial failures. Consider the year 1995. Trump declared a staggering loss of nearly $1 billion, a colossal number by any measure, and yet simultaneously it presented an extraordinary opportunity. This monumental loss allowed him to legally avoid paying federal income taxes for as long as 18 years. The pervasive question that hung in the air was, how could a businessman plagued by so many public failures not only survive, but continue to thrive and live a life of extravagant luxury as if he were utterly infallible? Simple. He was a master at selling the illusion of success, even when his ventures were in ruin. Every new project, every new building was announced with immense pomp and circumstance. Buildings bore his name in gleaming gold letters, a testament to his perceived triumph. Television shows like The Apprentice catapulted him into living rooms across America, where he famously dismissed contestants with a theatrical snap of his fingers, reinforcing his image as a decisive, powerful leader. But a closer examination A deeper investigation would inevitably uncover a trail of numerous lawsuits, scathing accusations of fraud leveled against the now-defunct Trump University, and even multi-million-dollar fines for the egregious misuse of his charitable foundation. The ultimate price: reputation, legal battles, and a stained legacy during his tumultuous presidency. The already murky boundary between the public sphere and his private business interests became even more profoundly blurred and dense. The Trump Organization was controversially not placed in a blind trust. On the contrary, it continued to operate. Now imbued with unprecedented access to power, influence, and critical diplomatic contacts. Foreign embassies frequently booked rooms and held events at his hotels, turning diplomatic stays into direct profit for his businesses. Political events and fundraisers regularly took place at his luxurious resorts. Every stay, every dinner, every golf outing at his properties seamlessly translated into direct financial gains for the very machine he had always meticulously tried to keep shrouded in secrecy, and the relentless cascade of scandals refused to abate. In 2020, even after he had left the presidency, even deeper and more damning investigations came to light. These included revelations about long-term tax evasion, the systematic falsification of financial statements, and a series of secret payments made with campaign money, including a particularly emblematic case involving an adult film actress. In his impassioned defense, Trump consistently claimed that all these accusations were nothing more than politically motivated persecution. However, the sheer volume and consistency of the evidence continued to mount, painting an increasingly clear picture. What once appeared to be a series of isolated, unfortunate incidents began to coalesce into a discernible, systemic pattern of behavior. A decades-long strategy meticulously designed to circumvent rules, bend laws, and relentlessly maximize his personal gains at any cost. The ultimate price for all that accumulated fortune and for the perpetually opulent lifestyle he cultivated. For so long has finally begun to be exacted. This reckoning isn't being paid in cash nor in the wake of more dramatic casino bankruptcies. Instead, it's being collected in the far more valuable currencies of reputation, credibility, and, most significantly, a torrent of criminal prosecutions. The carefully constructed image of the business genius that Trump had so meticulously projected for decades has begun to visibly corrode, steadily eaten away by relentless revelations of fraud, manipulation, and alleged criminal conduct. Staggering $355 million fine recently imposed by a New York judge, coupled with mounting interest for civil fraud, represents one of the most devastating blows to date. The core accusation is that he and his adult children deliberately lied about their wealth and the value of their assets to secure more favorable loans and insurance deals, systematically defrauding financial institutions. Furthermore, the 3-year ban from serving as an officer or director in any New York corporation is another profoundly significant setback, directly assaulting the very core of his identity as a businessman and undermining his capacity to operate his sprawling enterprise. Beyond the civil penalties, the multiple criminal indictments he faces paint an even graver picture. These include high-profile cases related to his alleged retention of classified documents, charges linked to his purported efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election, and the infamous hush money payments to an adult film star. These myriad legal battles are stark examples of how the once blurred line between aggressive business shrewdness and outright illegality has become increasingly stark and uncompromising throughout his controversial career. In the final accounting, the highest price paid for this immense fortune was not financial. Instead, it was the irreparable erosion of public trust, the indelible stain on his complicated legacy, and the daunting web of legal battles that now relentlessly haunt him. The man who once presented himself as the ultimate embodiment of the American dream now finds himself inextricably entangled in a series of very real legal nightmares. This undeniable trajectory proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that every fortune carries a price, and in the complex, controversial case of Donald Trump, that price has been the stark exposure of a lifetime spent in the shadows, culminating in the painful loss of his once invincible public image and the unflinching revelation of the true, profound cost of his empire.